In this video, we are going to talk about the looping structures in R. Uh, the looping structures in R, they are quite slow compared to other languages, but sometimes they are still necessary or much easier to do something with a looping structure than trying to do everything with vectors and so on, like a vectorized operation. So, well, anyway, uh, in this class I'm going to have a little different environment here because the for command is usually spread in more than one line. It can be everything in one line, but I really recommend that you use this structure that I'm using here. And it's really important to use an indentation. Indentation, there is many articles about it on the internet, like even Wikipedia. It's adding this tab command here after the something that encapsulates the structure, because the for command that we are going to learn, it repeats everything that is inside this structure the number of times of the size of this vector here. So you can put a for inside of a for, you can put a if inside of it, and each new level you should add a new tab, so you always know like what is inside of what, and it's a lot of people uh, don't take this very seriously, but as an experienced programmer I can assure you that it's absolutely essential when your program starts getting bigger. So okay, let's take a look in the for comment. So what the for does is, like I said, it repeats everything that is inside of these brackets, all the comments inside of these brackets, the number of times of this vector that I gave here. In this case is 30. And it puts each of the value in each time of this vector inside of this variable here. So what this is going to is to print the value that the for put in the I variable every time. So we print 1 from to 30. Let's take a look. This software here that I'm using is called Notepad++, and I teach how to install it and how to use it together with R in the configuring your environment video. So okay, we run the command here and you can see that it shows what we expected. Uh, another looping structure that we have is the while command. There is many others, but these are the main ones I would say. In the while, here I declare the e equal to 0. I put the value 0 on it. Could be 1, better 1 to be similar to for. And while it's exactly what the name says. While ei is smaller than 30, it will repeat everything inside of it. Here I put a comment, which is, for people that don't know what comment is just something that has nothing to do with the code. It's just like an annotation that you put there to explain what the comment is. And in R, the comments are done with this symbol here. And what I put here char is because this while is pretty simple, And here I should I is equal to I plus 1. Here is a really simple while, but when you have more complex software and you have many comments inside of here, it's easy to lose track of your index. And if you lose track of your index and this condition is never satisfied, this while will be literally while. It will go forever. So, and it can freeze your computer. So, should be used with care only when it's really necessary. But what this does, like for instance, now I almost forgot to add I here. And if I didn't put this comment here, this while would run forever, just printing the number 1, because it doesn't automatically increment the number like 4. Well, 4 also doesn't increment, but it's like it respects this vector. And so if this condition is never satisfied, this will run forever. So let's run it, see how it works. It shows the same thing. And so you that have to make sure that this condition will be satisfied by, for instance, incrementing the variable until it gets to the value that you want. And I gave so much emphasis of the data types in the beginning because here you can put any vector. You can declare a vector, for instance, any array of numbers. You can declare, for instance, v is equal to 1, 30 instead, and then put v here. So, or you can put the result of a which comment here. You can do this kind of stuff. If you know the types, you can put any variables that make that as any variable here that is from the type required. The same as while. Here it's a condition, it's a true or false. You can put anything that results in a true or false here, and while will work. So let's go to our next example. Like why this is useful. Let's go to the example that we have with our weather data. So I'm going to load the table, and I will create a new column called diff, which will be the difference between the previous day and the day of the day. This is something that it's a little difficult to do just with vectors. It's possible, but it's a little difficult. So let's take a look in our table. Diff here, the new column that I created. I will just set the size of the table is equal to the dimension of it. So okay. So I will make a for from 1 to 740, and here I check if I is different of 1, because when I is equal to 1, I don't have a previous value, so I just set it to NA. I can't calculate that, and if I try, it was going to give an error because I'm trying to access a value that doesn't exist. By the way, in the conditional statements class, I forgot to mention the else command. I'm sorry. The else command, like if the condition of the if command is not fulfilled, it will run the else. So it runs one or another. And so in this case, whenever the value is different from 1, basically all besides the first one, it will run this command here, which we'll just like, I may expand this a little bit so you can see the comment. What I do is I use the index of the for comment, so I'm going to literally walk through the vector diff, and I will set to the current value the value of the current temperature, the max temperature, minus the temperature of the index of the past one index from the previous index. So let's run it. Okay, so we see that now the diff has the value that we expected. What I notice is a lot of times people have trouble when debugging. Debugging is the act of trying to find what is going wrong in your software, getting information. Because the for command, you can't do what I told you to do, to always check the values and to see what's going on, because it just runs all of a sudden. You can't stop it in the middle. You can with the break command, but this is more advanced. So my tip on how to debug for commands is you can always set the variable like to the values that you want. For instance, I want to see what happens when e is equal to 2, which would be the second execution of this for. And then I set e equals 2, and then I can, test, like, is this condition true? It is true, so it's here that's going to be executed and not here. And then I can, take a look at the values here. This was the resulting value, this was the value that was going to be, that is the current value. Then I can look, is this the current value that I wanted? Is this the next value that I wanted? What is the index here? You can execute each of the commands here and see what's going on. What is the result of this? So it really is make it easier. And what you can do is just put I is equal to I plus 1 here. Then you execute that, and then now I has the value of the next for loop. So you can do the same thing, like is this condition true now that I'm in the next one? It's still true, so it's still that what is going to be run, and then you can check again the values, and you can keep doing that, you know, or you can set an arbitrary value, like, oh, I know that the error happened in the I got an error in the 600 value, so I can go here on the size and just manually set it to this 600, okay, and run everything again. And now I stopped where the index was 600, and now I can go here and execute each of these comments, like is it equal to, okay, so this is true, and it's still this code that's being executed and not this one. And then I can go again and check the values and see what's going on, you know. So it's really important to be able to know what's happening at each time that you execute this code. And one additional note about this structure, see that the indentation here, like this if is inside of this for, so I put one tab inside. And then these comments are inside this if, so I put another tab inside. And this comment is inside of this else, so I put another tab inside. So I always know in which level these comments are. And another note, the else comment has to be that way that I wrote it here. It has to be in the same line, the closing of the previous comment and the start of the next comment. Because if you do, I have seen people do that and then wonder why it's not working, and it doesn't work. R just requires it to be in the same line. Or this, for instance, this also doesn't work. And this works in some languages, but in R no. It has to be in the same line. So just use the way I'm showing here. It's better. Okay, so the homework of this class is also part of the project. What you're going to do is you're going to take again our weather data, our table, and you're going to create a new column with the accumulated rainfall of 3 days. The past day, the current day, and the next day. The sum of them. So yeah, a tip of how to proceed, you have to create a for, and you do the same thing. You have to test if it's the first or if it's the last value, because in the first one you don't have a previous, and in the last one you don't have a next one. And if none of these happen, you have to just sum the previous, the current, and the next. Yeah, that's it. So see you there.